When the police examined Simran the maid's death, they closed the book within hours. To the investigators, the scene pointed to a tragic, isolated suicide with no evidence of outside interference. Asta's grandmother, Biro, interpreted the girl's subsequent panic attacks as a symptom of a predator rather than a psychological reaction. She treated the episodes as an active paranormal breach, moving quickly to establish a defense before the entity could fully take hold. This defense took the form of a kala daga, a black thread bound around Asta's wrist. Accompanied by a specific mantra, the thread serves as a metaphysical firewall that prevents a spirit from physically interacting with the host's body. However, this occult safeguard has a specific tactical vulnerability. Its protection only lasts as long as the victim remains a willing participant. If the wearer chooses to untie the knot themselves, the security system drops instantly. The spirit, Damini, manifested as a beautiful, calming presence in Asta's room. By adopting the role of a secret confidant, she bypassed the girl's natural fear and gained direct access to her inner life. Damini began securing Asta's absolute trust by solving her problems at school. After a bully named Ravi humiliated Asta, the spirit visited him at night, scaring him into a public, tearful apology the very next day. Once Asta felt dependent on this guardian, Damini manufactured a high-stakes crisis. She offered to help Asta face down a group of older students, but demanded a sacrifice to access her full power, the removal of the protective black thread. The moment the thread was removed, the entity was free to hijack Asta's biology. The girl turned on her own mother, her eyes turning pitch black as she struck her with a physical force far beyond her natural capability. This wasn't a random haunting. It was a targeted assassination attempt that used grooming and psychological manipulation to dismantle a child's defenses from the inside. The family took Asta to the ashram of Rishi Kalmuk. The situation required physical restraints, as the entity within the girl fought with animalistic desperation to escape the occultist's examination. Kalmuk identified the ritual as the Chaya Pran Vidhi, or the Shadow Soul ritual. This forbidden tantric practice is designed for one specific purpose: the transfer of a soul from a deceased body into a living host, facilitating resurrection. This diagram shows the 3 mandatory components of the ritual. It requires a blood sacrifice for initial energy, a living conduit as the power source, and a physical anchor, the corpse being revived. Simran's suicide wasn't a tragedy, but the calculated blood sacrifice needed to jumpstart the occult process. Currently, the entity is siphoning Asta's life force, channeling it directly into the physical anchor to bring a dead body back to life. Asta broke free from her restraints and bolted into the dark night. She ran with a mindless, magnetic pull, guided by an invisible tether. The possessed girl's body is functioning as a high-speed compass. Because the energy is flowing towards the final physical anchor, Asta is involuntarily leading her family directly to the ritual's mastermind. Asta's sprint ended at the home of Arav's younger brother, Rohit. The person the family trusted most had been hiding the ritual's central hub right under their noses. Inside, they found the physical anchor, the perfectly preserved corpse of Rohit's late wife, Damini. She was dressed in ritual finery, waiting for the final transfer of Asta's life force. Rohit was suffering from premrogue, the sickness of love. His grief mutated into absolute entitlement, convincing him that sacrificing his niece was a justifiable price to pay for his wife's return. To break the spell, the mother and grandmother bypassed the spirit and attacked the physical anchor. They grabbed Damini's body and dragged it into the yard, choosing to destroy the vessel rather than battle the ghost. As the corpse was suddenly consumed by the roaring fire, the tether to Asta snapped. The violent positions ceased instantly, and the energy being drained from the girl finally returned to its source. Rohit utilized ancient tantric mechanics to orchestrate a domestic betrayal. He prioritized his own obsession over his niece's life, demonstrating how grief can transform a family protector into a predator.